Today's video is for the people who feel like they can't have a grasp on why they feel so jealous. These are for the people who feel like they can't control their impulses in wanting to check their social media, to know where they are, to know what they're up to be always one step ahead. This video will put the things I've done on blast. I believe that a lot of people need to hear this. I believe a lot of people need to understand this topic, and it is very important to me. These tips have saved my relationship. It's just really helped me out, and I hope this will help you guys too. I'm going to start off this video with a little bit of a story. A couple years ago, it was in my very first relationship. This guy was very manipulative. Manipulative to the point where I didn't know that he was cheating on me for a year. Within that year that I had my suspicions, there were a lot of actions on his part that caused me to be paranoid, that have caused me to doubt myself, that has caused me to make me feel crazy. This person denied every point I brought up to him, deflected and blamed me for a lot of the reason why I felt the way I did, even though I was completely right about everything. I would see things that didn't add up in his social media. I would see DMs that didn't make any sense. A lot of that is the reason why I have developed this trait called hypervigilance. So any little thing could trigger you and make it seem like a threat to you. Hypervigilance is basically assessing a threat before it happens. Every single little detail is a threat to you. The whole year I was made to not trust myself, told I was crazy. I was told everything wasn't true, and I really believed him because it was my first relationship and I was in love with him, and I was naive to the fact that all of these were lies, all of these were made up, and he was just a very manipulative person. That then spiraled into a very unhealthy form of jealousy that I had moving forward with other partners. This then resulted in me having hypervigilance. Anything that looked a little bit suspicious, I would immediately be triggered. Anything that looked like it could lead into something, I was immediately starting an argument. I immediately pointed that person out, even though I didn't really have any reason to. So this leads me to present day, where I'm in a very beautiful relationship and he gives me no reason to feel like I can't trust him. But for the better part of last year, I questioned every single thing that he did. I just questioned everything, and it almost ruined our relationship. And then I came across these tips that have honestly transformed everything and changed how I viewed everything, changed how I acted, and just really changed things for the better. This is why I want to share this with you guys, because it's helped me so much to be at a better place, and that's just what I want for you guys as well. And I feel like it would just be unfair of me to not be able to help other people who are going through the same thing. Okay, so tip number one is to understand what jealousy is to understand where the jealousy is coming from. Jealousy is a human trait. It's not crazy. It's not insane. It's not unhealthy. Jealousy is actually very healthy. Jealousy was developed in human nature to be able to assess threats. Like back in the day, you would need that jealousy to help you survive. You needed to make sure that no one was going to take over your tribe, or no one was going to attack your family, no one was going to steal your resources. You had to be able to assess the threat and know if someone was suspicious, know if someone was out there to harm you. Jealousy was keeping you alive. We need to understand that jealousy is normal. Anyone who calls you crazy, anyone who calls you stupid or insecure or just out of your mind just doesn't understand that jealousy is such a normal part of them. And people who deny being a jealous person, either super secure with themselves, 100% secure, and has had no trauma, has had no hurt in their life, good for you, or people who just want to deny that human fact about themselves. I want you all to understand that jealousy is normal. It only becomes excessive when it starts to take over your life like it did take over mine. It starts to ruin relationships, it starts to ruin friendships, it starts to ruin your daily happiness and your daily peace. That's when it becomes a problem, and this is why I want to help you guys, because that was a better part of my life for about 2 to 3 years, I wanted to change. I didn't want to be chained down by this jealousy anymore. I want you all to know and understand that you were hurt. You were hurt. Someone hurt you to the point where you couldn't trust people anymore. Someone hurt you to the point where you couldn't trust yourself anymore. And that's not your fault. It really isn't. So please don't feel like you're crazy. Please don't feel like you're the worst person in the world for having these jealous feelings. You were hurt. This is only you defending yourself. This is only you defending your peace. This is only you defending your feelings. But again, I'm trying to help you understand that you can't have that take over your life forever. You can't have that dictate your decisions. You can't have that manipulate your relationships too. You can't have that be unhealthy. A good amount of jealousy is healthy, but a lot of it is not healthy. And trust me, I understand. As long as you understand that jealousy is just a human part of ourselves, trying to keep us safe, trying to avoid the hurt, just know that it's okay to feel those feelings. But the next couple of tips I'm going to tell you in this video is going to help you control those feelings and to understand how to not have those feelings destroy your relationships. Okay, so tip number 2 is to drown out the noise. Just drown it out. And what I mean by drowning out the noise is kind of like this. Imagine that you have that annoying aunt or uncle at dinner and Thanksgiving, and they just keep yapping about things that are completely negative, completely unsolicited, and everyone at the dinner table is looking at them like, oh God, be quiet, stop talking. You guys are ruining Thanksgiving dinner. Think of your jealous thoughts as that. You need to remove yourself from those feelings. You need to step back from those feelings that you're having and be able to kind of see it for what it is. Just sort of noise. Just picture your annoying aunt or your annoying uncle if that helps you, because that's helping me when I feel these feelings of jealousy. As soon as I feel like I'm worried about some little detail that didn't quite add up, I don't let myself spiral in those thoughts. And what you're going to have to do is take a big, huge breath and step back. Imagine that uncle or that aunt that's just yapping. Those are your jealous thoughts. As soon as you can understand and differentiate that, that is so important. That's probably the most important step. You just take a breath, take a step back, and look at all those thoughts that are streamlining in your head. Take a step back and drown out the noise. Tip number 3 is to challenge the thoughts. One that I like to refer to a lot is future predicting. This is a form of cognitive behavioral therapy, and what future predicting is that these thoughts that you have, you kind of question, are these predicting something in the future that I have no evidence and no basis to go off of? So the thing about future predicting is that we are not mind readers, we are not Houdinis, we are not witches, we can't tell the future. But for some reason, we're letting our thoughts run wild in our head and convincing us that we can predict the future. But you snap out of it because that's not true. You can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen. And I understand completely where this is coming from. It's just these jealous feelings are trying to protect you from something that you think is going to happen. These jealous feelings are just assessing the threat and protecting you from what you perceive is going to happen. But to snap out of it and stop future predicting, challenge the thoughts, and realize that you can't predict the future. So it's unfair to put yourself in this position to feel paranoid, to feel scared, to feel hurt and angry and sad and all this mix of emotions. It's not fair to yourself and to your partner to future predict. Tip number 4 is to understand that you have a bias. This is basically the main characteristic of hypervigilance. Is something could be completely innocent, but you're gonna misconstrue it for the fact that it's unfaithful. Or you're gonna misconstrue it for the fact that you can't trust your partner. You're gonna misconstrue it for the fact that you have every reason to believe that he's going to hurt you. But that's not true. You're looking through the lens of hurt. And again, I understand where that's coming from. You're just trying to protect your feelings, but you need to recognize this, that you have a bias. Now, a personal example of this bias is one time I was over at my boyfriend's place, and he kind of has a shelf full of birthday cards and Christmas cards from family and friends. It was his birthday recently that week, and he got a bunch of new cards. My bias kind of went crazy, went through all the cards. My hypervigilance went through all his birthday cards and started reading them. And then I saw this other one that didn't look too familiar to me and didn't look like I recognized the handwriting. It didn't look like I recognized who it was from. And I immediately went into red. I immediately saw danger. I immediately saw things that would piss me off, and I went into a spiral of things that made me feel like he was cheating on me. He made me feel like something was hiding. He made me feel like this, that, and this. But in truth, it was all a bias. That birthday card was from his friends and it meant nothing. But when you're in this bias, all you can see is threat. You need to recognize that you enter things with a bias. You enter a situation with a bias. And for the future, when you see new birthday cards, just look at it and understand like, oh, it was his birthday this week. There's gonna be new cards. And if there is something up, I trust that my partner will tell me. You can realize that you were just kind of blowing things out of the water. So you just need to understand that sometimes you head into things with a bias, and you need to realize that you need to stop doing that. Last but not least, tip number 5 is understand that your partner isn't perfect, and neither are you. So we're under this impression that the person that they're with is not supposed to hurt us. But to be honest, can you put yourself under those expectations? Can you honestly tell yourself that you're not gonna slip up once and it's not gonna look like anything suspicious? You need to look at yourself and understand, are you that perfect? Are your actions clean? Are your actions faithful? Are your words faithful? Are you perfect? If you are, then good for you, but you know, we're all human and I don't believe anybody is that perfect. And you need to understand that your partner isn't perfect either. And those are all the tips that have helped me to really understand that it's not healthy to linger onto these negative thoughts and to these negative feelings to have it ruin my relationship. Trust me, you're going to be so much happier. You're going to love yourself even more, and your partner's going to love yourself for working so hard on these traits. And just understand that the struggle is real. The struggle is hard. It's not going to be easy. But once you put the work into it, you're going to be so proud of yourself for growing past that hurt. You're going to be proud of yourself for taking that initiative to be better. I hope these tips will help you guys as much as it's really helped me. And if you love these tips, please like and subscribe below and let me know how these tips have helped you. I would love to hear your experiences. I know this was something that I've struggled with a lot, and I've really wanted to just sort of shed light on this subject and help people who are struggling with this as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!